Welcome back to Fractal Enigma, audio previews and stories. It has been a minute, but we are so incredibly excited to be back in your feed. We've been working on some massive things behind the scenes, and the biggest news is that our brand new website store is officially open. You can now support us and grab your favorite stories directly from the source. To kick off our return, we are giving you an exclusive preview of our latest release, Getting Lei'd. This one is a hilarious, slow-burn romantic comedy about a Type A perfectionist who gets dumped via email on her wedding day and a chaotic runaway bride who literally fled her own ceremony. Thanks to a massive booking error, they both end up stranded at the same Hawaiian resort, forced to share the exact same couples-only honeymoon suite. Let's dive right into the first few chapters of Getting Lei'd. Enjoy the preview.
Chapter 1. The Booking Error. Harper Vance stepped out of the taxi wearing a structured linen blazer. In Hawaii. In June? The heat hit her like a physical assault, thick, wet, aggressive, and she felt sweat prickle instantly along her spine beneath the carefully pressed fabric. She should take the blazer off. She knew she should take it off. But the blazer was armor, and Harper had learned long ago that you didn't remove your armor just because the battlefield was uncomfortable. Besides, the blazer had pockets. And in those pockets was her laminated itinerary, color-coded by activity type, blue for excursions, green for meals, yellow for things she could do alone. There was a lot of yellow.
Welcome to the Royal Hibiscus Resort and Spa.
A young man in a floral shirt materialized beside her, reaching for her luggage with the aggressive hospitality of someone who worked on commission.
Checking in for your honeymoon?
The word landed like a slap. Yes, Harper said, because it was easier than explaining. Because she'd been awake for 36 hours, and had cried exactly 0 times, and she was not going to break that streak for a bellhop.
Congratulations. Your husband is going to love the Mauna Loa villa. Best sunset views on the property.
Harper's smile felt like it might crack her face. I'm sure. She followed him toward the lobby, rolling her carry-on behind her with precise measured steps. The resort sprawled before her in an assault of tropical excess, palm trees swaying like they were being paid to look relaxed, a koi pond the size of her Chicago apartment, and flowers, God, so many flowers, exploding from every surface in shades of pink and orange and red. It was obscene. It was beautiful. It made her want to scream. A couple walked past her hand in hand, the woman's head tipped against the man's shoulder. They were laughing at something. Probably at nothing. Probably just high on love and sex, and the delusion that this feeling would last forever. Harper had been that delusional once. 72 hours ago, to be precise. Now she was walking into her honeymoon resort alone, with a laminated itinerary that included spa day for one, and sunset walk, bring book, and absolutely no entry for sob uncontrollably in the shower while questioning every life choice that led to this moment. Though she might pencil that in for later. The lobby was open air, which seemed architecturally irresponsible, with massive ceiling fans rotating lazily overhead, and the distant sound of a harp drifting from somewhere she couldn't identify. A waterfall cascaded down one wall into a pool filled with floating orchids. Everything smelled like plumeria and money.
Aloha. Welcome to the Royal Hibiscus.
A woman appeared at the check-in desk, her smile so bright it should have come with a warning label. Her name tag read Alice, and she wore a hibiscus flower behind her left ear, and the expression of someone who had never experienced a negative emotion in her entire life. Harper hated her immediately. Then felt guilty about it. Then decided the guilt was a waste of energy she didn't have.
Checking in,
Harper said, approaching the desk.
Vance. The honeymoon package.
Oh, wonderful.
Alice's fingers flew across her keyboard.
We're so excited to have you. The Mauna Loa villa is absolutely stunning. You're going to love it. Is your partner checking in separately or?
There is no partner.
Alice's fingers paused. Her smile flickered just for a moment before professional training kicked back in.
I see. Well, that's perfectly fine. Solo honeymoons they're a thing. Self-love is very important.
It's not a solo honeymoon by choice.
The words came out sharper than Harper intended. She took a breath.
There was a change in circumstances. Last minute. But the reservation is non-refundable, so here I am.
Oh,
Alice's face cycled through about 17 expressions in 2 seconds. Surprise, pity, more pity, awkward sympathy, a desperate wish to be literally anywhere else.
I'm so sorry. That must be very difficult.
It's fine.
It was not fine. Nothing was fine. But Harper had been saying it's fine for 3 days straight, and she wasn't about to stop now, not when she was so close to the finish line of getting a room key and finding a flat surface to collapse onto.
Let me just pull up your reservation.
Alice typed. Frowned. Typed again.
I'm seeing Avance, but hold on.
More typing. More frowning.
I have Avance O'Connor? Joint booking?
No.
Harper shook her head.
Vance. Just Vance. My fiancé's name was Whitmore. Is Whitmore. He still exists, unfortunately.
She heard herself and winced.
That came out wrong. I don't wish him dead. I just wish he didn't exist in my general vicinity. Or on my honeymoon booking.
Alice's eyes had gone very wide.
I haven't slept in 36 hours,
Harper explained, which wasn't really an explanation but felt like it needed to be said.
Right, of course. Let me just.
Alice was typing frantically now, her professional composure developing visible cracks.
The system is showing your credit card on file, definitely, but the name on the reservation is Vance O'Connor, and it's marked as a joint booking for the couple's package.
I don't know anyone named O'Connor.
Maybe it's a system glitch. We had some issues with the booking software last month, and sometimes reservations get merged.
Alice did not sound confident about this theory.
Let me call my manager. I'm sure we can sort this out. Why don't you wait at the bar? Complimentary drinks for all honeymoon guests.
I'm not really.
Please.
Alice's smile had taken on a slightly desperate quality.
Just give me 10 minutes. I'll figure this out.
Harper wanted to argue. Harper wanted to stand at this desk and demand answers until someone explained how her meticulously planned honeymoon had acquired a mystery hyphenate and a second person she'd never heard of. But she'd been awake for 36 hours, and the bar was right there, and suddenly the idea of a drink, even at 11 in the morning, even alone, even in this aggressively romantic hellscape, sounded like the best idea anyone had ever had.
Fine,
She said.
10 minutes.
She found a seat at the far end of the tiki bar, as far from the other patrons as possible. The bartender, a large man with kind eyes and a name tag that read Kai, took one look at her blazer and her expression and her white-knuckle grip on her carry-on and said simply,
Rough fight.
Rough life.
Vodka soda.
Please.
He made it strong. She appreciated that about him. Harper took a long sip and let her eyes drift closed just for a moment. The alcohol burned pleasantly down her throat, and for exactly 3 seconds she felt almost human. Then her phone buzzed. She pulled it out, hoping irrationally that it would be Greg, not because she wanted to hear from him, but because she wanted the satisfaction of ignoring him. But the name on the screen was worse. Mom, holding our heads high, darling. Don't give anyone a reason to pity us. Right? Because this was about the family reputation. Because Harper's fiancé leaving her via email the morning of her wedding wasn't a personal tragedy, it was a PR problem to be managed. She shoved the phone back in her pocket without responding. The email. God, the email. She could recite it from memory at this point, had replayed it so many times in the past 3 days that the words had lost all meaning and gained too much meaning simultaneously. Harper. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I've realized that we want different things from life. You're incredibly accomplished and I admire your drive, but I've come to understand that your rigidity makes true partnership impossible. You approach everything, including our relationship, like a contract to be optimized rather than a connection to be nurtured. I need someone who can be spontaneous. Someone who doesn't need a spreadsheet for everything. Someone who's fun. I know this is terrible timing, and I'm sorry for that. But I couldn't stand at that altar and promise forever when I know it would be a lie. I hope you find what you're looking for. Greg. She wasn't fun. That was what it came down to, apparently. 4 years of relationship, 18 months of engagement, A 200-person wedding that her mother had orchestrated like a military campaign, and it all collapsed because Harper Vance wasn't fun. The worst part was that she couldn't even argue with him. She wasn't fun. She knew that. She was organized and driven and precise. She made lists and followed them. She didn't like surprises. She'd built her entire life around the elimination of uncertainty, and Greg, solid, predictable fellow lawyer Greg, was supposed to be the final piece of that puzzle. Instead, he pulled out a piece and watched the whole thing collapse. And here she was, alone at a bar in Hawaii at 11 in the morning, wearing a blazer in 90-degree heat because it had pockets and pockets felt safe, waiting for someone named Alice to explain why her honeymoon had been mysteriously conjoined with the strangers. She took another long drink. At least it couldn't get worse. That was when she heard it. A voice at the check-in desk, slightly husky, carrying the very specific energy of someone who is either still drunk or freshly hungover.
"Oh, Connor. Checking in."
Harper's head snapped up. A woman stood at the desk. Late 20s maybe. Messy bun that looked like it had been assembled during an earthquake. Board shorts. A bikini top. Sunglasses that definitely weren't hers, judging by how they kept sliding down her nose. She looked like she'd just rolled out of bed. Or possibly a ditch. Alice's voice drifted across the lobby.
"Oh, Connor. We found you. Your wife was just here."
Harper's vodka soda went down the wrong pipe. She coughed violently, drawing the attention of Kai the bartender and an elderly couple 3 stools down, who looked at her with the kind of concern usually reserved for choking victims.
"I'm fine,"
she gasped.
"Fine."
She was not fine. Because the woman at the desk, the disaster in board shorts, the human hangover, the mystery hyphenate, had just been called her wife. And she was turning now, scanning the lobby, her gaze landing on Harper with the confused squint of someone trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. Their eyes met. Harper saw the exact moment the woman registered her blazer, her luggage, her general aura of controlled desperation. The woman's eyebrows rose. Harper's jaw tightened. This was going to be a problem. Chapter 2. The Pact. Riley O'Connor's phone had 47 missed calls. She knew because she'd counted them. Twice. Once on the plane when she should have been sleeping, and once just now, standing in the blazing Hawaiian sun outside a resort that looked like it had been designed by someone whose only reference material was romance and too much. 47 calls from Daniel. Well, 45 from Daniel. One from her dad, which was somehow worse. And one from Megan, her half-sister, who had probably been deputized to do reconnaissance. Riley turned the phone off and shoved it into the bottom of her duffel bag, beneath a tangle of bikinis and the single crumpled sundress she'd packed for emergencies. Whatever Daniel had to say, she didn't want to hear it. Whatever her dad had to say, she definitely didn't want to hear it. And Megan, sweet, loyal 22-year-old Megan who still believed in things like true love and happy endings, deserved better than a phone call from her disaster of an older sister who had just done the most Riley thing possible. She'd run. Again. The shuttle bus pulled away behind her, leaving Riley standing on the pristine white driveway of the Royal Hibiscus Resort and Spa with her overstuffed duffel, her borrowed sunglasses, found on the plane, owner unknown, finders keepers, and the bone-deep exhaustion of someone who hadn't slept in 36 hours. God, she needed a drink. Or a bed. Or a drink in a bed. Preferably all 3, in whatever order the universe saw fit to provide them. She hitched her duffel higher on her shoulder and surveyed the resort. It was aggressively gorgeous, all swaying palms and manicured gardens and little bridges over koi ponds that served absolutely no practical purpose except to look romantic. A couple walked past her, the man carrying his bride over one of said bridges while she shrieked with laughter. Riley felt nothing. No. That wasn't quite true. She felt relief. A wave of it so strong it almost knocked her over. Because 36 hours ago she'd been standing in a church in Portland, wearing a white dress that had cost more than her car, staring down an aisle at Daniel Chen, kind, stable, boring Daniel Chen, and she'd realized with perfect, terrible clarity that she would rather die than walk toward that life. So she'd walked the other direction. Out the side door. Into an Uber. To the airport. To a bar. To another bar. To a plane. To here. Her wedding was supposed to be happening right now. The reception anyway. Daniel's mother had spent 6 months planning the seating chart. There was a fondant cake shaped like a camera, because Riley was a photographer, get it, that probably cost more than some people's rent. And Riley was in Hawaii, wearing sweatpants and a bikini top, with her hair in a bun that could generously be described as structural chaos. She should feel guilty. She knew she should feel guilty. Daniel didn't deserve what she'd done to him. He was a nice guy, a good guy, the kind of guy mothers loved and fathers approved of. He taught high school history and coached the debate team, and had never once raised his voice in the 2.5 years they'd been together. He was perfect. He was boring. And Riley had finally, after 2 years of pretending otherwise, admitted that she'd rather be alone in paradise than married in Portland.
Welcome to the Royal Hibiscus. Checking in?
Riley blinked. A young man in a floral shirt had materialized in front of her, his smile so wide it looked like it might hurt.
Ah. Yeah. Oh, Connor.
Wonderful. Honeymoon package?
The word hit her like a bucket of ice water. Right. This was supposed to be her honeymoon. Hers and Daniel's. The trip they'd booked 8 months ago, back when Riley was still playing the part of a woman who could commit to something longer than a Netflix series.
Sure,
She said, because what else was she supposed to say? Actually, I left my fiancé at the altar yesterday and now I'm here alone because the tickets were non-refundable, and honestly I just needed to be anywhere but Oregon.
Your wife already checked in.
The bellhop chirped.
She's waiting for you.
Riley's brain short-circuited.
My what?
Your wife?
He was already reaching for her duffel, still smiling, completely oblivious to the fact that he'd just said words that made no sense in any order.
She arrived about 20 minutes ago. I took her luggage to the Mauna Loa villa myself.
I don't have a wife.
Oh,
His smile flickered.
girlfriend? Partner? We don't like to assume here at the Royal Hibiscus. Very progressive.
No, I mean,
Riley rubbed her eyes beneath the borrowed sunglasses. She was too hungover for this. Too tired. Too everything.
I don't have anyone. I was supposed to be marrying a guy named Daniel. A man. But I didn't marry him. So now I'm here alone.
The bellhop's smile had frozen into something that looked medically concerning.
I see.
He said slowly.
Well, there might be some confusion at check-in. The front desk can help you sort it out.
Great. Awesome. Can't wait.
She shuffled toward the lobby, her flip-flops slapping against the pristine tile with each step. The lobby was ridiculous, all soaring ceilings and orchid-covered walls and the gentle sound of a harp coming from somewhere that should have been soothing but instead made Riley want to scream. Who the hell played harp music at 11 in the morning? Rich people. Rich people did that. She made her way to the front desk where a woman with a hibiscus behind her ear was typing frantically while another woman, this one in full business armor, blazer and all, stood with her arms crossed and her jaw set like she was preparing for battle. Blazer woman was talking in the clipped, precise tones of someone who had never experienced chaos in her entire life.
And I'm telling you, there must be a mistake. I don't know anyone named O'Connor.
Riley's stomach dropped. O'Connor. Oh no. The front desk woman, Alice according to her name tag, looked up and spotted Riley approaching. Her face lit up with the desperate relief of a hostage seeing a SWAT team.
O'Connor. We found you.
Alice gestured toward Blazer woman.
Your wife was just here.
Several things happened at once. Blazer woman spun around so fast she nearly gave herself whiplash. Riley made a noise that was somewhere between a laugh and a choke. And from the bar there was a violent coughing sound that suggested someone had just inhaled their drink.
I don't have a wife.
Blazer woman said, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Riley squinted at her. Took in the immaculate bob, the structured linen blazer in Hawaii in June, what kind of psychopath, the designer luggage, the white knuckle grip on what appeared to be a laminated piece of paper.
Neither do I.
Riley said.
Pretty sure about that. I was supposed to be marrying a guy, but that didn't work out. You know, on account of me running away.
Blazer woman's eye twitched. Alice cleared her throat.
So the thing is, we have a bit of a situation with the booking. The system shows a joint honeymoon package for Vance O'Connor.
I'm Vance.
Blazer Woman said.
And I'm O'Connor,
Riley added unhelpfully.
And both of your credit cards were charged for the Mauna Loa Villa, which is our couple's suite.
Alice was typing again, her fingers flying.
Now, I'm sure this is just a glitch, and I'm trying to find another room, but
Blazer Woman's voice could have frozen the tropical ocean.
we're fully booked.
Alice winced.
It's peak honeymoon season. Every room is taken.
The silence that followed was the loudest thing Riley had ever heard.
You're telling me
Blazer Woman said slowly.
that I have to share my honeymoon suite with a stranger?
I prefer the term unexpected roommate.
Riley offered. Blazer Woman turned to look at her. Really look at her this time. Taking in the messy bun, the bikini top, the sweatpants that may or may not have a coffee stain on the left thigh. Her expression cycled through several emotions: disbelief, horror, a brief flash of something that might have been hysteria, and finally settled on resigned fury.
No.
I understand your frustration,
Alice said, her customer service voice strained to its breaking point.
and I want you to know that we're going to comp your stay. Full refund on the room plus resort credit.
I don't want a refund. I want a room. A separate room.
I wish I could accommodate that, but
What about a couch?
Riley interrupted.
Like in the lobby. I've slept in worse places.
Everyone turned to look at her.
What? I'm just saying if Princess over here doesn't want to share.
Princess?
Blazer Woman's voice went up an octave.
Then maybe there's a creative solution. A hammock. A pool chair. The beach.
Riley shrugged.
I'm flexible.
I am not sleeping on the beach.
I didn't say you should sleep on the beach. I said I would.
Riley was starting to enjoy this, despite everything. There was something deeply satisfying about watching this woman's perfectly controlled facade develop cracks.
I'm very low maintenance.
Blazer Woman laughed, a short, sharp sound that was not amused in the slightest.
You just offered to sleep on the beach. That's not low maintenance, that's
She seemed to be searching for the right word.
feral.
Feral.
Riley grinned.
That's a new one. Usually people go with free-spirited or eccentric.
I prefer accurate.
ladies,
Alice held up her hands in the universal gesture of please stop fighting in my lobby.
I'm sure we can work this out. The Mauna Loa Villa is very spacious, over 2,000 square feet. There's plenty of room for two people to coexist without
Without committing murder.
Riley suggested.
I was going to say without inconvenience, but yes, that too.
Blazer Woman pinched the bridge of her nose. Riley noticed that her hands were shaking slightly, not with anger but with something else. Exhaustion maybe. Or barely contained emotion. Oh, Riley thought. She's having a really bad day too. For a moment, just a moment, she felt a flash of something that might have been sympathy. Then Blazer Woman opened her eyes and said,
I'd rather sleep on the beach.
and the sympathy evaporated.
Works for me.
Riley shouldered her duffel.
I'll take the bed.
That's not what I.
Keys.
Riley held her hand out to Alice, who looked like she might cry.
I'm assuming there are two.
Alice wordlessly handed over 2 key cards, one to Riley and one to Blazer Woman, who accepted hers like it was a live grenade.
The villa is down Lover's Lane.
Alice said weakly.
Turn left at the Passion Pavilion, then right at the Embrace Arch.
Lover's Lane.
Riley repeated.
Passion Pavilion. Embrace Arch. Did the person who named these things ever meet an actual human?
Our founder was very romantic.
I'll say.
Riley turned to go, then paused. Looked back at Blazer Woman, who was still standing at the desk like she couldn't quite believe this was her life now.
Hey.
Riley said.
I'm Riley, by the way. Since we're apparently roommates now.
Blazer Woman's jaw tightened.
Harper.
Harper.
Riley tested the name. It fit somehow, sharp and precise and a little bit old-fashioned.
Cool. Well, Harper, I'm going to go find our honeymoon suite and probably pass out for 6 to 8 hours. Feel free to join me whenever you're done having a silent meltdown by the koi pond.
She didn't wait for a response. Just turned and walked toward Lover's Lane, God help her, leaving Harper Vance standing in the lobby with her laminated itinerary and her perfect luggage, and her world falling apart in ways that were probably very different from Riley's but somehow weirdly felt the same. Behind her she heard Alice say,
Can I get you anything, Miss Vance? A drink? A towel? A hug?
and Harper's reply, so quiet Riley almost missed it.
I think I'm going to need all three.
Riley smiled despite herself. Maybe this trip wouldn't be so bad after all. Or maybe it would be a complete disaster. Either way, it was better than a wedding reception. Chapter 3. The Performance. The Mauna Loa Villa was, objectively, the most beautiful room Harper had ever seen. It was also, objectively, her personal hell.
Congratulations, Mrs. and Mrs.
The bellhop, a different one from earlier, younger and somehow even more aggressively cheerful, swept open the double doors with a flourish.
Welcome to your honeymoon paradise.
Harper's eye twitched. Behind her, Riley made a sound that might have been a laugh, or might have been a sob. It was hard to tell. The villa sprawled before them in an explosion of tropical luxury. Vaulted ceilings with exposed beams. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a private lanai, and beyond that, the endless blue of the Pacific. Hardwood floors so polished Harper could see her reflection, exhausted, rumpled, and wearing a blazer that now felt like the stupidest decision she'd ever made, which was saying something given recent events. And then there was the bed. The bed. Singular. One. It dominated the center of the room like a throne, draped in white linens and scattered with rose petals that spelled out, oh God, the word love in bright crimson. Two towel swans sat on the pillows, their necks curved together to form a heart. Harper stared at the swans. The swans stared back, their beady towel eyes somehow judgmental.
The Mauna Loa Villa features a California king bed,
The bellhop was saying, gesturing proudly.
Egyptian cotton sheets, memory foam topper, and of course our signature turn-down service with fresh rose petals every evening.
Every evening, Harper repeated flatly.
Every evening. And if you'd like, we can arrange for a couple's bubble bath at sunset.
We won't be needing that.
Or a private chef for a romantic dinner on the lanai.
Also no.
Or our most popular option, the Midnight Passion Package, which includes champagne, chocolate-covered strawberries, and a selection of.
Thank you.
Harper's voice came out sharper than she intended.
We're fine. We just need space.
The bellhop's smile faltered for the first time. He looked between Harper and Riley, Harper rigid and pale, Riley rumpled and swaying slightly on her feet, and seemed to finally register that something was amiss.
Of course.
He said, his cheer dimming by several watts.
Well, if you need anything at all, just dial 0. And congratulations again. On their marriage.
He retreated, pulling the doors shut behind him with a soft click. The silence that followed was deafening. Riley broke it first.
So, this is cozy.
Harper didn't respond. She was too busy having a quiet internal crisis about the bed situation. One bed. One. In a room the size of her entire Chicago apartment, the designers had somehow decided that one bed was sufficient. What kind of sadistic honeymoon architect?
I call left side.
Harper's head snapped toward Riley, who had already crossed the room and was dumping her duffel bag onto the floor beside the bed. The bag landed with a thump, spilling out a tangle of bikini straps and what appeared to be a single flip-flop.
Excuse me. Left side.
Riley flopped backward onto the bed, sending rose petals scattering.
I always sleep on the left. It's a thing. You can have the right.
I'm not sharing a bed with you.
Okay.
Riley didn't move.
Where are you going to sleep then?
Harper looked around the room. There was a small love seat by the window, definitely too short for sleeping. A chaise lounge on the lanai, exposed to the elements. The floor hardwood and unforgiving.
I'll figure something out. Suit yourself.
Riley stretched her arms above her head, her bikini top riding up to reveal a strip of tan stomach.
But I'm telling you, this bed is incredible. Memory foam. Egyptian cotton. I can already feel my back problems dissolving.
You're 28. You don't have back problems.
I have the back problems of a 40-year-old woman, actually. It's from hauling camera equipment.
Riley turned her head to look at Harper, still horizontal.
I'm a photographer. Wedding photographer, specifically. Which is ironic, given.
She waved a hand vaguely.
You know, the running away from my own wedding thing.
Harper didn't want to be interested. She was exhausted and furious, and standing in a honeymoon suite with a stranger who had somehow laid claim to her bed within 30 seconds of arriving. But despite herself, she heard her mouth say,
"You photograph weddings. And you still didn't want to go through with yours."
Oh, I love weddings. Other people's weddings.
Riley sat up, dislodging a towel swan in the process.
There's something beautiful about watching two people promise forever, you know. All that hope. All that joy.
She shrugged.
I just don't think I'm built for it. The forever part, I mean.
Something flickered in Harper's chest. She ignored it.
"I need to unpack,"
she said and turned away. The closet was, like everything else in the villa, absurdly large. Walk-in with built-in shelving and a chandelier. A chandelier. In a closet. Harper rolled her suitcase inside and began the soothing ritual of unpacking. Blouses arranged by color, pants hung by fabric weight, toiletries lined up in order of use. This was what she knew. Organization. Systems. Control. By the time she emerged 20 minutes later, her section of the closet looked like a department store display. Alphabetized shoe rack. Color-coordinated hangers. Even her sunscreen was positioned with the label facing out. Riley's duffel was still on the floor, now fully disgorged. Clothes spilled out of it like entrails. A strapless bra hung from the corner of the nightstand. There were flip-flops, plural now. She'd found the other one, inexplicably on the bed. Harper felt her eye twitch again.
"You're not going to unpack?"
Riley, who was now sprawled on the chaise lounge on the lanai with her eyes closed, called back,
I did unpack.
"That's not unpacking. That's chaos. That's entropy given physical form."
Entropy.
Riley laughed, a bright startled sound.
God, you really are a lawyer, aren't you?
"Contract law. And that's not. How do you even know I'm a lawyer?"
You're wearing a blazer in Hawaii. You have a laminated itinerary. You've been in that closet for 20 minutes arranging things by color.
Riley opened one eye.
You're either a lawyer or a serial killer, and I'm choosing to be optimistic.
Harper opened her mouth to respond, then closed it. She didn't have a good comeback. She hated not having a good comeback. Instead, she stalked toward the bathroom, desperate for a moment of privacy to collect herself. The bathroom was, of course, just as excessive as the rest of the villa. Marble floors. Dual vanities. A soaking tub the size of a small pool, positioned in front of yet another floor-to-ceiling window. And the shower. Harper stopped dead. The shower was glass. All glass. 4 walls of crystal clear, not even slightly frosted glass, positioned directly in the center of the bathroom with a view of both the main room and the lanai. There was no curtain. No screen. No way to shower without being completely, utterly visible to anyone in a 50-foot radius.
Cozy, right?
Harper spun around. Riley was leaning against the bathroom doorframe, arms crossed, a smirk playing at the corners of her mouth.
There's no privacy.
Nope.
It's just glass.
Him.
Who designs a shower like this? What kind of deranged exhibitionist?
It's a honeymoon suite.
Riley's smirk widened.
Pretty sure the whole point is that you don't want privacy. You're supposed to be in there with your spouse doing spouse things, and the glass is for?
She waggled her eyebrows.
Ambience.
Harper felt heat creep up her neck.
Well, we're not, this is completely unacceptable.
I mean, you could shower in the dark.
That's a drowning hazard.
You could wear a swimsuit.
That defeats the purpose of showering.
You could.
I could what?
Harper's voice had gone slightly shrill.
What possible solution is there for a shower that is essentially a fishbowl in the middle of the room?
Riley considered this for a moment. Then she shrugged.
I could just not look.
The simplicity of it, the casual, unbothered way she said it, made Harper's brain short-circuit.
You could not look?
Sure. I'll be out on the lanai or at the pool or asleep. It's not like I'm going to stand here with binoculars.
Riley pushed off the doorframe.
Relax, Harper. We're both adults. We both have bodies. It's not a big deal.
It felt like a big deal. It felt like an enormous deal. But Harper didn't know how to articulate that without sounding like a Victorian maiden having the vapors, so she clamped her mouth shut. Riley wandered back into the main room, leaving Harper standing in the bathroom, staring at the glass shower like it had personally insulted her. This was going to be a very long week. An hour later, they'd established a fragile détente. Harper had claimed the right side of the bed, she wasn't sleeping on the floor, she wasn't an idiot, and constructed a barrier of pillows down the center. Riley had watched this process with undisguised amusement but mercifully hadn't commented. The towel swans had been destroyed. Harper had dismantled them the moment Riley left to use the bathroom, stuffing the towels into the closet like evidence of a crime. When Riley returned, she'd simply raised an eyebrow, then 20 minutes later rebuilt one from the extra towels in the linen closet. It now sat on the dresser, its little towel head cocked at a judgmental angle. Harper was pretending not to notice it.
So,
Riley said from her side of the bed, where she was flipping through a leather-bound book she'd found on the nightstand.
have you seen this romance menu?
The what?
Romance menu. It's like room service but for romance.
Riley snorted.
Listen to this. Sunset Serenade, a private ukulele performance on your lanai, featuring classic love songs and a champagne toast. Or this one, Path of Petals, return to your room to find a trail of rose petals leading to a warm bubble bath and your partner waiting with.
She stopped reading, her eyebrows climbing toward her hairline.
Oh wow. Okay. This resort has very specific ideas about what honeymooners want.
I don't want to know.
Are you sure? Because there's something called the Couple's Awakening that involves.
I'm sure.
Riley laughed and tossed the menu aside.
Your loss. I was going to suggest we order the moonlit massage for two, just to watch the staff's faces when they realize we're not actually married.
We're not ordering anything.
You're no fun.
The words landed harder than they should have. You're no fun. Someone who's fun. Someone who doesn't need a spreadsheet for everything. Harper flinched before she could stop herself. Riley noticed. Of course she noticed. She was a photographer trained to catch the moments people tried to hide.
Hey.
Her voice had softened.
I didn't mean.
It's fine.
Harper stood up abruptly, smoothing down her blouse. She'd finally taken the blazer off, a small concession to the tropical heat.
I need a drink.
It's 3 in the afternoon.
I'm aware.
She crossed to the door, then paused with her hand on the handle. Behind her, she heard the creak of the bed as Riley stood.
You know what? I could use a drink too.
I wasn't inviting you.
I know.
Riley appeared at her elbow, having somehow crossed the room without making a sound.
But I'm going anyway. We can be 2 separate people getting drinks at the same bar. Parallel drinking.
Harper wanted to argue. But the fight had drained out of her somewhere between the towel swans and the glass shower, and now she just felt tired. Tired and wrung out and desperately in need of alcohol.
Fine.
She pulled the door open. Riley reached for it at the same moment. Their hands collided, Riley's warm and calloused, Harper's cool and manicured, and both of them froze. It lasted less than a second. A brush of fingers, nothing more. But Harper felt it all the way up her arm, a spark of something that had no business existing between 2 strangers who'd known each other for less than 3 hours. She pulled her hand back like she'd been burned.
After you,
Riley said, her voice strange. Harper didn't look at her. Couldn't look at her. She stepped through the door and started down the path toward the bar, hyper-aware of Riley's footsteps 3 feet behind her. They walked in silence through the resort's winding paths, past the Passion Pavilion, a gazebo, the Embrace Arch, a trellis covered in bougainvillea, and something called the Devotion Deck, a small pier that served no apparent purpose except to be romantic. The tiki bar appeared like an oasis, all bamboo and thatched roof and the promise of oblivion in liquid form. Kai was behind the bar, polishing glasses. He looked up as they approached, and his face creased into a knowing smile.
Honeymoon couple.
No.
Harper said.
absolutely not.
Riley said. They spoke in perfect unison. Kai's smile widened. He set down his glass and reached for 2 menus.
Sure.
He said, with the tone of someone who had seen everything and believed none of it.
What can I get you ladies?
Harper opened her mouth to order a vodka soda, safe, simple, controlled. But what came out was,
Something strong. I don't care what.
beside her, Riley laughed.
Make that too,
She said.
and keep them coming.
Kai nodded sagely, like this was exactly what he'd expected. And Harper, despite everything, despite the glass shower and the one bed and the woman beside her who was chaos personified and irritating beyond measure, felt something in her chest loosen just a little. Maybe it was the prospect of alcohol. Or maybe, and she would never ever admit this, not even under oath, it was the fact that for the first time in 3 days she wasn't completely alone. Chapter 4. The Cracks. 3 scorpion bowls in, Riley decided Harper Vance wasn't so bad. 4 scorpion bowls in, she was pretty sure they were going to be best friends.
The thing is,
Harper was saying, gesturing with her tiny paper umbrella in a way that suggested the alcohol had finally breached her defenses.
the thing is, he didn't even have the decency to tell me in person. 4 years. 4 years of my life and he sent an email.
An email.
Riley repeated, shaking her head.
That's cold.
It was very well written. Proper paragraph structure. Correct use of semicolons.
Harper stabbed the umbrella into her drink.
He proofread his breakup email. He probably ran it through spell check.
Of course he did. He's a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer. I would never send a breakup email.
No.
No. I would send a certified letter. With a notary.
Harper paused, seeming to consider this.
That's a joke. I think that's a joke. I'm very tired.
Riley laughed. A real laugh, not the polite kind she'd been deploying for the first hour of their parallel drinking experiment. Somewhere around Scorpion Bowl number 2, the 3 feet of space between their bar stools had shrunk to 3 inches, and somewhere around number 3, they'd stopped pretending they weren't having a conversation. It turned out that shared misery was an excellent bonding agent.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand.
Riley said, leaning her elbow on the bar. The surface was sticky with something tropical, and she didn't care.
You said he called you rigid. But you're not rigid.
You're just
She searched for the word.
Organized. There's a difference.
Harper's eyebrows rose.
You think I'm organized? You called my unpacking a department store display.
That was a compliment. My unpacking looks like a crime scene. I wish I could organize things by color. I can barely organize things by clean and probably clean.
That's disgusting.
I know. It's a gift.
Harper's mouth twitched. It wasn't quite a smile, but it was close, closer than anything Riley had seen from her since they'd met. Progress. Kai appeared with a fresh round of drinks, sliding 2 more scorpion bowls across the bar with the smooth efficiency of a man who had been enabling poor decisions for decades.
On the house.
He said.
You two look like you need it.
We're not together.
Harper said automatically.
I know.
Kai's smile was knowing.
That's why you need it.
He moved down the bar to help another customer, leaving Riley and Harper staring at their drinks.
What did he mean by that?
Harper asked.
No idea. Drink your scorpion bowl.
Harper drank her scorpion bowl. The sun was starting to set now, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that would have been romantic if Riley had been here with literally anyone she was actually supposed to be here with. Instead, she was watching the sunset with a woman who alphabetized her shoes and had a physical reaction to unmade beds. Somehow, it wasn't the worst thing.
Can I ask you something?
Harper said.
You're going to anyway.
Why did you run?
The question landed like a stone in still water. Riley felt the ripples spread through her chest, disturbing things she'd been trying very hard not to think about.
Honestly?
Preferably.
Riley picked at the edge of her cocktail napkin, shredding it into tiny pieces.
I was standing at the back of the church. The music was playing that song, you know, the one, da 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 da, da 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 da, and everyone was looking at me like I was supposed to be the happiest woman in the world.
And you weren't.
I wasn't anything. That was the problem.
Riley took a long sip of her drink.
Daniel he was perfect. Kind. Stable. The kind of guy who remembers your birthday, and your mom's birthday, and your dentist appointments. He would have been a great husband.
But
I looked down that aisle and I saw the next 50 years of my life and it was just beige. You know? Like pleasant beige. Comfortable beige. The kind of beige where nothing bad ever happens, but nothing really good happens either.
Harper was quiet for a moment. Then she said,
Greg was beige.
Yeah?
I thought beige was safe.
Harper's voice had gone soft.
I thought if I just followed the plan, did everything right, found someone stable and predictable and appropriate, I'd be happy. Or at least content. Content seemed like enough.
Was it?
Harper laughed, a hollow sound.
I don't know. I never got the chance to find out. He decided I was too beige. Or not beige enough. Or the wrong shade of beige.
She shook her head.
He said I wasn't fun.
That's bullshit.
Harper looked at her, surprised.
You don't even know me.
I know you destroyed those towel swans like they'd personally wronged you. I know you have a laminated itinerary, with color-coded activities. I know you've been making sarcastic comments under your breath all day that you think I can't hear, but I can and they're hilarious.
Riley shrugged.
That's fun. That's a specific kind of fun. Just because some boring lawyer dude didn't appreciate it doesn't mean it's not there.
Harper stared at her. Riley felt heat creep up her neck.
What?
Nothing. I just...
Harper shook her head.
No one's ever described my itinerary as fun before.
Well, they should. It's very type of fun. It's fun for people who also think spreadsheets are fun.
Riley grinned.
I don't think spreadsheets are fun, for the record. But I can appreciate that someone does.
Harper's mouth did that almost smile thing again.
You're very strange.
I know. It's part of my charm.
Is it though?
Rude.
But Harper was smiling now, actually smiling, small and reluctant but real, and Riley felt something warm bloom in her chest. She blamed the scorpion bowls.
Oh my God, look at them.
The voice came from behind them, high-pitched and carrying. Riley turned to see a couple approaching the bar, matching linen outfits, matching tans, matching expressions of smug satisfaction.
Drinking alone on their honeymoon.
The woman continued, not even bothering to lower her voice.
It's so sad. Do you think they got dumped?
Probably.
The man said.
Who comes to Hawaii alone?
Riley felt Harper go rigid beside her.
Excuse me,
Harper said, her voice icy.
but we can hear you.
The woman had the grace to look slightly embarrassed.
Oh. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. Didn't realize we had ears. Or didn't realize we were people with feelings who might not appreciate being discussed like zoo animals.
Harper,
Riley murmured. But Harper was on a roll now, her exhaustion and alcohol and 3 days of suppressed emotion finally finding an outlet.
For your information, we are not drinking alone. We are drinking together. And we are not sad. We are having a perfectly lovely evening until you decided to comment on it like some kind of romance resort hall monitor.
The couple gaped at her. Riley pressed her lips together, trying very hard not to laugh.
Furthermore,
Harper continued,
I'll have you know that my wife and I are celebrating our honeymoon in our own way, and if that way involves scorpion bowls and minimal human interaction, that is our prerogative as married adults.
The word wife hit Riley like a splash of cold water. She turned to stare at Harper, who was still glaring at the couple with the intensity of a woman who had just committed to a bit, and was not about to back down.
Your wife?
The woman said weakly.
Yes. My wife.
Harper reached over without looking and grabbed Riley's hand. Her grip was tight, almost desperate.
Riley. My wife Riley. Who I married. Because we're in love.
The couple looked at Riley. Riley looked at Harper. Harper's eyes were slightly wild, the look of someone who had jumped off a cliff and was only now realizing there might not be water at the bottom.
that's right.
Riley heard herself say.
We're very much in love. Can't keep our hands off each other, actually. It's disgusting.
Harper's grip on her hand tightened.
Congratulations.
The woman managed.
That's lovely. It is lovely. We're very happy.
Harper's smile was terrifying.
Now if you'll excuse us, we'd like to get back to our romantic evening of scorpion bowls and not being judged by strangers.
The couple retreated, murmuring apologies, and disappeared into the restaurant. Riley and Harper sat in silence for a long moment. Then Riley burst out laughing.
Your wife.
She wheezed, clutching her stomach.
We're in love. Harper, what the hell was that?
I don't know.
Harper dropped her face into her hands.
I don't know what that was. They were being so smug and I couldn't. I just wanted them to stop looking at us like that.
So you told them we were married?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
At the time? That was 30 seconds ago.
A lot can change in 30 seconds.
Riley was laughing so hard she could barely breathe. Harper lifted her head, her cheeks flushed with either embarrassment or alcohol or both, and after a moment she started laughing too, a surprised, slightly hysterical sound that seemed to catch her off guard.
Oh my God,
Harper gasped.
Their faces.
We're very much in love. It's disgusting.
Riley wiped tears from her eyes.
I can't believe I said that. I can't believe you said we were married.
I panicked.
You told complete strangers we were wives.
What was I supposed to do? Let them pity us?
Yes. That's the normal response.
I don't do normal.
Harper's voice cracked on something between a laugh and a sob.
I had a normal life and a normal fiancé and a normal wedding planned, and look where that got me. Alone in Hawaii with a stranger who doesn't own enough towels, and a bartender who keeps giving us knowing looks.
To be fair, Kai gives everyone knowing looks. I think it's his thing.
Harper hiccuped.
I've ruined everything. Now those people think we're married, and they're probably going to tell other people, and everyone at this resort is going to think
that we're a couple.
Yes.
Riley considered this for a moment. Then she said,
Would that be so bad?
Harper blinked at her.
What?
Think about it.
Riley leaned back on her stool, her mind racing.
We're both here alone. We're both miserable. We're both stuck in a couples-only honeymoon suite at a resort that's designed for people in love.
And
if everyone thinks we're together, we get to enjoy the perks without the pity.
Riley gestured around the bar.
You saw that flyer at check-in: free couples massage, complimentary champagne, priority reservations at the fancy restaurant. All of that is for couples only. If we're single, we get none of it.
Harper's eyes narrowed.
You want us to pretend to be married?
I want us to pretend to be married.
Riley confirmed.
Just for the week. We keep up the act in public, get all the free stuff, and avoid having anyone look at us like we're tragic spinsters who couldn't hold on to a man.
I don't need to hold on to a man. I'm perfectly happy without.
I know.
But do you want to spend the next week explaining that to every smug couple who looks at you sideways?
Harper didn't answer. Which was, Riley realized, an answer in itself.
Here's what I'm thinking,
Riley said, warming to her theme.
We create personas. Keep it simple, same first names, but we're Mrs. and Mrs. Smith. We met at a wedding, fell madly in love, got married at a courthouse because we couldn't wait. If anyone asks for details, we deflect.
That's...
Harper trailed off.
Brilliant. Insane? Both.
I was going to say oddly specific for something you just made up.
I think fast. It's a gift.
Riley grinned.
Come on, Harper.
What's the worst that could happen?
We could get caught and be humiliated in front of the entire resort.
Okay, yes, that.
But what's the best that could happen?
Harper was quiet for a long moment. Riley watched her thinking, could almost see the gears turning, the lawyer brain weighing pros and cons, risk and reward. Finally, Harper said,
We'd get the couples massage.
We'd get the couples massage.
And the free champagne.
And the free champagne.
And no one would look at us like we're pathetic.
No one would look at us like we're pathetic.
Harper took a deep breath.
This is insane.
Completely insane.
We've known each other for 6 hours.
About that, yeah.
I don't even know your last name.
O'Connor. Riley O'Connor. Soon to be Riley Smith, apparently.
Harper snorted. It was an undignified sound, completely at odds with her whole vibe, and Riley found herself grinning.
Okay,
Harper said.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's pretend to be married.
Riley's grin widened. She stuck out her hand.
Mrs. Smith.
Harper looked at her hand for a moment. Then she reached out and shook it.
Mrs. Smith.
Her grip was firm. Professional. Exactly what Riley would have expected from a contract lawyer. But her hand was warm, and it lingered in Riley's just a beat longer than necessary, and Riley felt that strange spark again, the same one from earlier when their fingers had touched at the door. She blamed the scorpion bowls.
We need rules,
Harper said, releasing her hand.
parameters, clear boundaries.
Of course we do.
In public, we're affectionate. Believable. Casual touches, pet names, the whole thing.
I can do casual touches.
In private, we're roommates. The pillow barrier stays.
Agreed.
No talking about our real exes unless alcohol is involved.
Riley raised her scorpion bowl.
Already ahead of you.
And most importantly,
Harper leveled a finger at her.
what happens in Hawaii stays in Hawaii. No strings. No contact after. When the week is over, we go back to our separate lives and pretend this never happened.
Something flickered in Riley's chest. She ignored it.
No strings.
She agreed.
Just two strangers scamming a resort out of free champagne.
We're not scamming.
We're totally scamming.
We're strategically optimizing our vacation experience.
That's lawyer speak for scamming.
Harper's mouth twitched.
Maybe.
Definitely.
They grinned at each other, and for a moment, Riley forgot that this was insane, forgot that she'd just agreed to fake marry a woman she'd known for 6 hours, forgot that she was sitting in a tiki bar at a honeymoon resort she was supposed to be at with a completely different person. For a moment, it just felt like the start of an adventure. Kai appeared again, materializing like he had a sixth sense for significant moments. He slid a piece of paper across the bar.
Thought you two might be interested.
He said.
Couples poolside bingo tomorrow. Grand prizes.
He paused, something glinting in his eyes.
Well, it's really something.
Riley picked up the flyer.
Poolside bingo.
Trust me.
Kai's smile was enigmatic.
You'll want to win.
He moved away, leaving them with the flyer and the remnants of their scorpion bowls. Harper peered at the paper.
We're not doing poolside bingo.
We're absolutely doing poolside bingo.
Riley.
Consider it our first date. As a married couple. It'll be character building.
Harper groaned.
I hate this already.
But she didn't say no. And when they finally stumbled back to the villa an hour later, Harper slightly unsteady, Riley definitely unsteady, both of them giggling at nothing in particular, Riley found herself thinking that maybe, just maybe, this disaster of a vacation might turn out to be the best bad decision she'd ever made. They collapsed onto opposite sides of the bed, the pillow barrier firmly in place between them.
Good night, wife,
Riley said to the ceiling. There was a pause. Then so quiet she almost missed it.
Good night, wife.
Riley smiled in the dark. Tomorrow, they had a bingo game to win. Chapter 5. The Massage. Harper woke up with a hangover that felt like a personal vendetta. Her mouth tasted like regret and rum. Her head throbbed with every heartbeat. And there was something warm pressed against her back that definitely hadn't been there when she fell asleep. She went very, very still. The pillow barrier. The carefully constructed pillow barrier that she had spent 10 minutes arranging the night before. Where was the pillow barrier? Slowly, Harper turned her head. Riley was curled against her, one arm flung across Harper's waist, her face buried in Harper's shoulder. She was still wearing yesterday's bikini top and board shorts, her hair a wild tangle across the pillow, and she was making soft little snoring sounds that should have been annoying but were somehow almost cute. No. Not cute. Irritating. Definitely irritating. Harper held her breath, trying to figure out how to extract herself without waking the chaos gremlin currently using her as a body pillow. She shifted slightly to the left. Riley made a noise and pulled her closer. Harper's heart did something complicated. Riley, she whispered. Nothing. Riley. Still nothing. Riley, wake up. Riley's arm tightened around her waist. 5 more minutes, she mumbled into Harper's shoulder. You're warm? I'm not we have a pillow barrier for a reason. Pillow barriers, stupid. Riley nuzzled closer. You smell nice? Like fancy soap. Harper's face was on fire. This was ridiculous. She was a grown woman, a professional, a contract lawyer who had negotiated million-dollar deals without breaking a sweat. She could handle one sleepy photographer who apparently had no concept of personal space. Riley. O'Connor. Wake up. Riley's eyes finally cracked open. For a moment she just blinked at Harper, clearly not processing the situation. Then her gaze tracked down to her own arm wrapped around Harper's waist and her eyes went wide. Oh shit. She scrambled backwards so fast she nearly fell off the bed, getting tangled in the sheets and making a noise that was half yelp, half laugh. Sorry. Sorry, I'm a cuddler. I should have warned you, it's a thing, I can't control it. I once spooned a body pillow so aggressively I knocked it off the bed. It's fine. Harper sat up, smoothing her hair and trying to recover some dignity. Her heart was still racing. She blamed the sudden movement. Just, maybe we reinforce the pillow barrier tonight. Yeah. Definitely. More pillows. A fortress of pillows. Riley was blushing, which Harper hadn't expected. The woman who'd waggled her eyebrows about the glass shower was apparently embarrassed about accidental cuddling. I really am sorry. I didn't mean to. It's fine, Harper repeated. We were drunk. Things happen. Right? Drunk things. Riley ran a hand through her tangled hair. Speaking of which, how's your head? It's attached to my body, which I resent. Riley laughed, then winced, pressing a hand to her temple. Okay, yeah, same. How many scorpion bowls did we have? I lost count after 4. That explains everything, actually. Riley flopped back against the pillows. What time is it? Harper checked her phone. 11:30. In the morning? No, at night. We've been asleep for 18 hours. Don't be sarcastic when I'm dying. I'm always sarcastic. It's a coping mechanism. Riley laughed again, softer this time. Fair enough. She turned her head to look at Harper. So, we really agreed to fake a marriage last night, huh? The events of the previous evening came flooding back. The smug couple. Harper's panicked declaration. Riley's immediate commitment to the bit. The handshake. The rules. Good night, wife. Good night, wife. We really did, Harper said. And we're really doing this. Apparently. Riley grinned, and despite the hangover and the accidental cuddling and the general disaster of her life, Harper felt her lips twitch in response. Well then, Mrs. Smith. Riley sat up, stretching her arms above her head. We have a bingo game to win. Poolside bingo, as it turned out, was an elaborate affair. The resort had transformed the main pool area into what could only be described as a competitive romance arena. Cabanas were arranged in a semicircle around a small stage, each one outfitted with plush cushions and complimentary mimosas. A large bingo board dominated the stage, attended by an MC in a Hawaiian shirt so bright it was almost weaponized. Somewhere, speakers were pumping out a playlist that seemed to consist entirely of love songs from the 80s. Harper surveyed the scene from behind her darkest sunglasses, clutching a mimosa like a lifeline. This is horrifying, she said. This is amazing, Riley countered. She had somehow procured a matching pair of sunglasses, where, Harper had no idea, and was bouncing slightly on her heels with an enthusiasm that seemed medically impossible given her hangover. Look at all these couples. They're so coupley. That's not a word. It is now. I just invented it. Riley grabbed Harper's free hand. Come on, wife. Let's find a cabana. The word wife sent a strange little jolt through Harper's chest. She told herself it was the mimosa. They found a cabana near the back, Harper's preference less visible, and settled onto the cushions. Riley immediately sprawled out like she owned the place, while Harper perched on the edge, trying to look like she belonged there. Relax, Riley murmured, leaning close. You look like you're at a job interview. I'm not good at relaxing. I've noticed. Riley's hand found Harper's knee, squeezing gently. Just follow my lead. And try not to look like you're plotting someone's murder. I'm not? Aloha, lovebirds. Harper's head snapped up. The MC had materialized in front of their cabana, clipboard in hand, smile approximately 300% too wide for the current hour. I'm Kikoa, your bingo host. And who do we have here? The Smiths, Riley said smoothly before Harper could open her mouth. Harper and Riley. We just got married. Newlyweds. How exciting. Kikoa made a note on his clipboard. And how did you two meet? We love a good love story. Harper's mind went blank. Riley's did not. Oh, it's such a romantic story, Riley said, leaning into Harper's side. Her hand was still on Harper's knee, warm through the thin fabric of her cover-up. I was working a wedding. I'm a photographer and Harper was there as a guest. But her car broke down in the parking lot, right in the middle of a thunderstorm. Harper blinked. This was news to her. A thunderstorm? Kikoa said, delighted. Massive. Like biblical. And there's Harper standing in the rain in this gorgeous dress, trying to call AAA, and she looked so? Riley glanced at Harper, something soft flickering in her eyes. Lost. Beautiful but lost. So I ran out with my umbrella. That's so sweet. It was very wet, actually. The umbrella was basically useless. Riley grinned. But I held it over her anyway, and we stood there in the parking lot for 20 minutes waiting for the tow truck and we just talked. About everything. About nothing. And by the time the truck came, I knew. Knew what? Harper heard herself ask. Riley's eyes met hers. That I was going to marry her. The moment stretched. Harper forgot about the bingo, forgot about the MC, forgot about the cabana full of strangers. All she could see was Riley's face, soft and sincere, the teasing glint replaced by something that looked almost real. Then Riley winked, and the spell broke. Anyway, Riley continued, turning back to Kikoa, we did the long-distance thing for a while. She's in Chicago, I'm in Portland, but eventually I couldn't take it anymore. I flew out to surprise her, and I proposed right there in the airport. Very romantic. Very chaotic. Security got involved. Kikoa was practically swooning. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. We're a very beautiful couple, Riley agreed. Now, how do we win at bingo? My wife is extremely competitive. I am not, Harper started. She once made a spreadsheet to optimize her Scrabble strategy. That's not, how do you know that? You told me last night. Around Scorpion Bowl number 3. Harper made a mental note to never drink Scorpion Bowls again. Kikoa handed them their bingo cards with a final congratulations and moved on to the next cabana, leaving Harper and Riley alone again. A thunderstorm? Harper hissed. AAA. An airport proposal? I panicked. You try coming up with a meet cute on the spot. Riley was grinning, clearly pleased with herself. Besides, you have to admit it was good. I even made myself tear up a little. I noticed. Acting skills. Riley tapped her temple. Wedding photographer, remember? I've witnessed approximately 8,000 declarations of love. I know what sells. Harper shook her head, but she was smiling despite herself. You're ridiculous. You married me anyway. Allegedly. Riley's hand was still on Harper's knee. She seemed to have forgotten it was there. Harper had not. Now focus. We have bingo to win. Harper did not consider herself a competitive person. This was a lie she told herself regularly, and one that crumbled approximately 30 seconds into the first bingo round. B7, the MC announced. Harper's gaze snapped to her card. B7. She had B7. She marked it with aggressive precision. Oh my God, Riley whispered. You're doing the thing. What thing? The murder eyes thing. You're staring at that bingo card like it owes you money. I don't have murder eyes. You absolutely have murder eyes. It's terrifying. Riley leaned closer, her breath warm against Harper's ear. It's also kind of hot. Harper's hand jerked, sending her bingo marker skittering across the card. I what? But Riley had already turned back to face the stage, her expression innocent, her hand sliding a few inches higher on Harper's knee. For the act, Harper told herself. It was for the act. They were supposed to be a couple, and couples touched casually, and this was casual. This was nothing. This was N32. Harper forced herself to focus on the card. N32. She didn't have N32. She was fine. Everything was fine. Riley's thumb traced a small circle on her knee. Everything was not fine. The game continued. Harper marked her card with increasingly shaky hands, hyper-aware of every point of contact between her body and Riley's. Riley's shoulder against hers. Riley's thigh pressed along hers on the narrow cabana cushion. Riley's hand, warm and steady, still resting on her knee like it belonged there. When had it started to feel like it belonged there? I-19. Harper blinked. Looked at her card. I-19. That was bingo. That was a diagonal line, clear as day, and she had bingo. Bingo, she breathed. Riley turned to look at her. What? Bingo. Harper's voice came out louder than intended. I have bingo. Bingo. She was on her feet before she could think about it, card thrust into the air, and the entire poolside area turned to stare at her. We have a winner. Kikoa bounded over, checking her card with theatrical flair. Confirmed? The Smiths take the grand prize. Riley was laughing, full-bodied, delighted laughter that made something flip in Harper's chest. Oh my God, Harper, your face. You look like you just won the lottery. I won bingo. It's the same energy, apparently. The crowd applauded. Kikoa disappeared backstage, and Harper sank back onto the cushions, slightly embarrassed by her outburst but mostly just pleased. She had won. She had competed and she had won, and the victory dopamine was flooding her system in a very satisfying way. So what's the prize? Riley asked. Cash? Resort credit? A romantic sunset cruise? Even better. Kikoa reappeared, holding something behind his back. The grand prize of couples poolside bingo is Gary? He produced the object with a flourish. Harper stared. Riley stared. It was a monkey. Sort of. Made from a coconut shell, with googly eyes glued slightly off-center, a grimacing mouth painted in chipped red paint, and two stick arms, one of which clutched a tiny wooden cocktail. It was wearing a miniature Hawaiian shirt. It looked like it had witnessed unspeakable horrors, and was planning to commit more. What the fuck is that? Harper whispered. That's Gary. Kikoa said brightly. He's been the bingo mascot for 15 years. Every winning couple gets to keep him for their honeymoon, as a good luck charm. Riley reached out and took Gary from Kikoa's hands, holding him up to examine his face. Gary's googly eyes rolled in their sockets, somehow making direct eye contact with Harper. He's beautiful, Riley said solemnly. He's haunted, Harper countered. He's our son now. Riley. Say hello to your mother, Gary. Riley turned the coconut monkey to face Harper. She's grumpy, but she loves you. I am not his mother. Don't listen to her, Gary. She's in denial. Harper looked at the coconut monkey. The coconut monkey looked at Harper. One of his googly eyes slowly drifted to the left. Fine, Harper heard herself say. Fine. He can stay. Riley's face split into a grin so bright it should have come with a UV warning. Really? But he sleeps on your side of the pillow barrier. Deal? Riley tucked Gary under her arm like he was a beloved child, and not a deeply cursed piece of tourist kitsch. Come on, Gary. Let's go get you a poolside snack. Do you like nachos? I feel like you like nachos. She wandered toward the snack bar, still talking to the coconut monkey, and Harper watched her go with a feeling she couldn't quite name. It wasn't fondness. It definitely wasn't fondness. Harper Vance did not develop fondness for strangers she'd known for less than 24 hours, no matter how much they made her laugh, or how warm their hands were, or how ridiculously committed they got to bits involving inanimate objects. This was a business arrangement. A mutually beneficial deception. Nothing more. Riley turned back to look at her, Gary tucked under one arm, and her smile softened into something private. Something just for Harper. You coming, wife? Harper's heart did that complicated thing again. She blamed the sun. I'm coming, she said, and followed Riley toward the snack bar, trying very hard not to think about how her knee still tingled where Riley's hand had been. That night they set Gary on the dresser, facing the bed. This is deeply unsettling, Harper said, staring at him from under the covers. He's watching us. He's our guardian. Riley was on her side of the bed, pillow barrier reinforced with 2 additional pillows after the morning's cuddling incident. He's protecting us from evil spirits. He is an evil spirit. Don't be rude. You'll hurt his feelings. Harper turned her head to look at Riley, who was looking at her, both of them lying in the darkness with a ridiculous coconut monkey watching over them, and a pile of pillows between them that suddenly felt like both too much and not enough. Today was... Harper started, then stopped. Insane? Riley offered. I was going to say fun. Riley's eyebrows rose. Fun? Harper Vance had fun? Don't make it weird. I'm not making it weird. I'm savoring the moment. You admitted to having fun. This is historic. Gary, are you getting this? This is a momentous occasion. I take it back. Today was terrible. Too late. No takebacks. Riley was grinning in the darkness, her teeth flashing white. You had fun. You won at bingo. You have a coconut son now. This is your life. Harper laughed, a small surprise sound that escaped before she could stop it. God help me. God has nothing to do with it. This is all Gary's domain now. They lay there in comfortable silence, the sounds of the ocean drifting through the open window. Harper could feel sleep pulling at her, the exhaustion of the day catching up, but she didn't want to close her eyes yet. Riley? Thanks? For today. For? She gestured vaguely. All of it. Riley was quiet for a moment. Then soft, yeah. You too. Harper closed her eyes. Tomorrow they had a couples massage scheduled. Tomorrow they'd have to keep pretending, keep touching, keep selling a lie that was starting to feel less like a lie with every passing hour. But that was tomorrow. Tonight she fell asleep with a smile on her face, and the faint sound of Riley's breathing on the other side of the pillow barrier. And if she dreamed about thunderstorms and airport proposals and the warmth of a hand on her knee, well, that was no one's business but her own. Chapter 6. The Confession. The spa smelled like eucalyptus and poor life decisions. Riley stood in the changing room, staring at the plush white robe hanging on the hook in front of her, and wondered exactly when her life had gone so completely off the rails. 3 days ago, she'd been standing at the back of a church in Portland, about to marry a perfectly nice man she didn't love. Now she was in Hawaii, about to get a couple's massage with a woman she'd known for 48 hours, pretending to be her wife, while a cursed coconut monkey named Gary watched over their honeymoon suite. This was fine. Everything was fine. She stripped out of her clothes and pulled on the robe, trying not to think about the fact that in approximately 10 minutes, she would be lying nearly naked on a table next to Harper Vance. Harper, with her sharp jaw and her sharper tongue and her soft hands that Riley definitely hadn't been thinking about since the bingo incident. The hand on her knee. The thumb tracing circles. The way Harper's breath had caught when Riley leaned in to whisper in her ear. It's also kind of hot. Why had she said that? What possible reason had there been to say that, other than the fact that it was true, and Riley apparently had no impulse control? She blamed the mimosas. She blamed the sun. She blamed Gary somehow. A knock on the changing room door made her jump.
Mrs. Smith?
A gentle voice, professionally soothing.
Your partner is ready. We'll begin whenever you are.
Right. Her partner. Her wife. Her fake wife who she was about to be half naked with in a dimly lit room while strangers rubbed oil on them. Totally normal. Totally fine. Riley took a deep breath, tightened the belt on her robe, and stepped out into the spa. Harper was already lying face down on one of the massage tables when Riley entered. The room was exactly what you'd expect from a honeymoon spa. Dim lighting, whale sounds emanating from hidden speakers, the overwhelming scent of eucalyptus and lavender and candles. So many candles. If someone sneezed too hard, the whole place would go up in flames. 2 massage tables set side by side, separated by maybe 2 feet of space. Harper occupied the one on the left, her face pressed into the cushioned headrest, her robe pulled around her waist. Riley could see the bare line of her shoulders, the knobs of her spine, She looked away. Mrs. Smith? One of the masseuses, a serene woman in her 50s whose name tag read Leilani, gestured to the empty table. Please make yourself comfortable. We'll begin in just a moment. Riley climbed onto the table, acutely aware of Harper's presence beside her. She shrugged out of her robe with as much dignity as she could muster, which wasn't much, and settled face down onto the cushion.
Comfortable?
Leilani asked.
Yep,
Riley said into the face hole.
Super comfortable. Living the dream.
From the next table, she heard Harper make a noise that might have been a laugh, or might have been a sigh of despair. Hard to tell.
Wonderful.
Leilani's hands found Riley's shoulders, warm and confident.
Now the Lovers Reconnection massage is designed to deepen the bond between partners. We'll be working in sync using matching pressure and rhythm to create a shared experience of relaxation and intimacy.
Sounds great,
Riley said, her voice slightly muffled.
We also like to learn about our couples.
Leilani continued.
It helps us personalize the experience. So tell me, how did you two meet?
Oh no. Riley's brain scrambled. They'd created a story, hadn't they? Yesterday at bingo. The thunderstorm, the umbrella, the airport proposal. But she couldn't remember the details, couldn't remember which parts she'd made up versus which parts Harper had added, and if she said the wrong thing.
We met at a wedding,
Harper said, her voice smooth and steady.
I was a guest. Riley was the photographer.
How romantic.
It was raining,
Harper continued.
My car wouldn't start. Riley came out with an umbrella.
Riley felt something warm spread through her chest. Harper remembered. Harper had been paying attention.
The umbrella was useless,
Riley added, finding her voice.
Completely useless. But I held it over her anyway.
Because you're a gentleman,
Leilani said approvingly.
Because she looked like a drowned cat and I felt bad for her.
From Harper's table.
I did not look like a drowned cat.
You absolutely looked like a drowned cat. A very pretty drowned cat, but still.
I'm choosing to focus on the pretty part of that sentence.
As you should. It was the main point.
Leilani laughed.
You two are adorable. How long have you been together?
2 years,
Harper said.
18 months,
Riley said at the same time. Silence.
We count differently,
Riley said quickly.
I count from our first date. She counts from when we made it official.
I'm a lawyer,
Harper added.
I like precision.
She really does. You should see her spreadsheets.
My spreadsheets are works of art.
Your spreadsheets are cry for help.
At least I have spreadsheets. You have a pile of receipts shoved in a shoebox.
That's a filing system.
That's a fire hazard.
Leilani and the other masseuse, a younger woman named Kiona, exchanged glances that Riley couldn't interpret. Probably trying to figure out if this was foreplay or a genuine argument. Honestly, Riley wasn't sure either.
You two have wonderful energy,
Leilani said diplomatically.
Now let's begin. We're going to start with the shoulders and work our way down. Try to relax and focus on your breathing.
Riley closed her eyes and tried to focus on her breathing. This was difficult because Leilani's hands were kneading her shoulders with exactly the right amount of pressure, and it felt incredible. And she kept making small, involuntary sounds of appreciation that she really hoped Harper couldn't hear.
That's it,
Leilani murmured.
Let go of the tension.
Riley let go of the tension. She let go of a lot of things, actually. The stress of the past few days. The guilt about Daniel. The confusion about whatever was happening with Harper. It all seemed to melt away under Leilani's practiced hands, leaving nothing but warmth and the faint sound of whale songs, and the knowledge that Harper was right there 2 feet away experiencing the same thing.
Now,
Kiona's voice drifted across the room.
We'd like you to connect with your partner. Please reach out and hold hands across the tables.
Riley's eyes flew open. Hold hands. She turned her head slightly, just enough to see Harper's face through the dim light. Harper was already looking at her, her expression unreadable.
It helps sync your energies,
Leilani explained.
Creates a deeper bond.
Right. Energies. Bonds. Totally normal spa stuff. Riley reached out her hand. Harper reached out hers. Their fingers met in the space between the tables. Harper's hand was softer than Riley had expected. Warm and slightly damp from the massage oil, with long fingers that wrapped around Riley's with surprising gentleness. Her grip was firm but not tight, confident like everything else about her. Riley's heart was doing something stupid in her chest. Perfect, Leilani said. Now just hold that connection while we continue. The massage resumed. Leilani's hands worked down Riley's spine, finding knots she didn't know she had, releasing tension she'd been carrying for years. It was blissful. It was transcendent. It was also increasingly difficult to focus on, because all of Riley's attention had narrowed to the point where her hand met Harper's. Harper's thumb moved. Just slightly. A small stroke across Riley's knuckles, so subtle it might have been accidental. Riley's breath caught. The thumb moved again. Definitely not accidental. Was she doing this on purpose? Was this part of the act? They were supposed to be a couple, after all. Couples held hands. Couples touched. This was probably just Harper being thorough, selling the story, maintaining the... Harper's fingers interlaced with hers, and Riley's brain went completely offline.
You are tensing up,
Leilani observed.
Try to relax.
Relax? Right. Riley was supposed to be relaxing. She was supposed to be enjoying a spa treatment, not having a crisis because her fake wife was holding her hand in a way that felt very, very real. She took a deep breath. She tried to focus on the massage. She failed spectacularly. The next 20 minutes were an exercise in exquisite torture. Leilani worked her way down Riley's back, her legs, even her feet, and all of it felt amazing, but none of it could compete with the electricity of Harper's hand in hers. Harper's thumb kept up its gentle stroking, tracing patterns on Riley's skin that probably didn't mean anything but felt like they meant everything. By the time Leilani reached a particularly stubborn knot between Riley's shoulder blades, Riley was wound tighter than when she'd started.
This might be a bit intense,
Leilani warned.
You're holding a lot of tension here.
I'm fine,
Riley managed. Leilani pressed down. The knot released. And Riley moaned. Not a small moan. Not a polite, spa-appropriate sound of mild relief. A real moan, low and involuntary and way, way too loud for the quiet room. The massage stopped. The wail sound seemed to get louder, filling the silence. Riley wanted to die.
Sorry,
she said, her voice strangled.
Sorry there was a knot and I didn't mean to.
It's perfectly natural,
Leilani said, but there was a note of amusement in her voice. From the next table, Harper made a sound. Not a word, just a sound, a sharp intake of breath quickly controlled. Riley turned her head. Harper was staring at her. Her face was flushed, her lips slightly parted, and her eyes were dark. Darker than Riley had ever seen them. Like something had shifted behind them. Something that had nothing to do with massage techniques or fake marriages or the gentle ambient music. Harper's grip on her hand tightened. The room felt suddenly very warm. Kiona's voice was slightly higher than before.
We'll move on to the final phase. You can release hands now if you'd like.
Neither of them moved.
Or not,
Kiona added.
That's fine too.
The massage continued, but something had changed. The air between them felt charged, heavy with something unspoken. Riley kept her eyes closed, but she could feel Harper's attention on her like a physical weight. Could feel the way Harper's thumb had stopped its gentle stroking, and was now just pressing against her skin, holding on. By the time Leilani announced that they were finished, Riley had no idea how much time had passed. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been 10 hours. She was floating in a strange space between relaxation and tension, her body loose and her mind racing.
Take your time,
Leilani said.
The relaxation room is just through that door when you're ready. There's tea and fruit waiting for you.
The masseuses slipped out of the room, leaving Riley and Harper alone. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then Harper released her hand. The loss of contact felt like a physical shock. Riley sat up slowly, pulling her robe back over her shoulders, very deliberately not looking at the table next to her.
So,
she said, her voice coming out rougher than intended.
That was
relaxing,
Harper said quickly. Too quickly.
Very relaxing. I feel very relaxed.
Right. Yeah. Super relaxed.
Riley risked a glance. Harper was sitting on the edge of her table, robe clutched around her like armor, her face still flushed. She was looking at a point somewhere over Riley's left shoulder, very carefully not making eye contact.
The hand thing,
Harper said.
That was they told us to do that. For the energy sinking.
Right. The energy sinking.
It didn't mean anything.
No. Of course not.
It was just part of the massage.
Totally.
Silence. Riley's heart was pounding so hard she was sure Harper could hear it.
We should go to the relaxation room,
Harper said.
Yeah.
Get some tea.
Definitely.
And never speak of this again.
Riley almost laughed. Almost. But there was something in Harper's voice, something brittle, something barely controlled, that stopped her.
Harper,
she started.
Don't.
Harper held up a hand.
Just don't. Okay.
And she slid off the table and walked out of the room without looking back. The rest of the day was an exercise in avoidance. Harper claimed a lounge chair on the far side of the pool. Riley claimed one on the opposite side. They didn't speak. They didn't look at each other. They existed in parallel, orbiting the same space but never quite touching. Riley told herself this was fine. This was smart. Whatever had happened in that massage room, whatever had almost happened, was a complication they didn't need. They had a deal. A pact. Rules. In private, we're roommates. The pillow barrier stays. Right? Roommates. That's what they were. Two people sharing a space, nothing more. The problem was, Riley kept thinking about Harper's hand. The way her fingers had felt interlaced with Riley's. The way her thumb had traced those small, devastating circles. The way her breath had caught when Riley moaned. That hadn't been fake. That hadn't been for the act. Riley had photographed enough couples to know what genuine attraction looked like, and what she'd seen in Harper's eyes when their gazes met across the massage tables. That was real. Which meant this whole situation had just gotten a lot more complicated. When the sun finally set and they returned to the villa, Gary was waiting for them on the dresser, his googly eyes somehow knowing.
Don't look at me like that,
Riley muttered at him. Gary continued to look. Harper emerged from the bathroom in her pajamas, silk of course because she was Harper, and climbed into bed without a word. The pillow barrier was already in place, reinforced with the extra cushions they'd requested from housekeeping. Riley climbed in on her side, very aware of the 2 feet of pillows separating them.
Good night,
Harper said to the ceiling.
Good night,
Riley replied. Silence. Then so quiet Riley almost missed it.
Your hands are really soft.
Riley's heart stuttered.
What?
But Harper had rolled onto her side, facing away, and didn't respond. Riley lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of Harper's breathing slowly even out into sleep. Her palm was still tingling where Harper had held it. This was bad. This was very, very bad. She was starting to feel things, real things, complicated things for a woman she'd known less than 3 days. A woman who was still raw from her own disaster of a relationship. A woman who had made it very clear that what happened in Hawaii stayed in Hawaii. No strings? No contact after. That was the deal. But as Riley finally drifted off to sleep, her last coherent thought was that deals, like rules, were made to be broken. And she was starting to want to break all of them.
And that is just a taste of the chaos waiting for Harper and Riley at the Royal Hibiscus Resort. If you want to find out how they survive sharing a single bed, a cutthroat game of couples poolside bingo, and a deeply cursed coconut monkey named Gary, you can listen to the rest right now. Getting Lei'd is officially out. You can grab the full audiobook today directly from our brand new website store or find it at your favorite major retailer. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting our first episode back. Make sure you are subscribed to the feed so you never miss a new story, and we will catch you in the next episode of Fractal Enigma.